Hi, welcome back. I'm Dylan Mendonca, and this is our second video with DylAcademy, and today we're going to be doing paper 4H from November 2007 for math. Okay, so question number 1 is asking you to work out this question, 5.9 minus 4.3 divided by 1.3 plus 1.2. And first of all, you've got to show all your working. So we'll deal with the numerator first. 5.9 minus 4.3 is 1.6 divided by 1.3 plus 1.2. This is really basic, so I was expecting you know this. 1.3 plus 1.2 is 2.5, so we've done with the bottom. And then you do 1.6 divided by 2.5. Do this on your calculator and you'll get 0.64. The next question, 2a, is asking you to factorize this expression 5x minus 20. So what you want to do is you want to find the highest common factor between both terms and then divide each term separately by the highest common factor. So in this case, what is the highest common factor between 5x and negative 20? If you think about it, it should be 5. So if I take 5 out and I divide 5x by 5, I get x, and if I divide negative 20 by 5, I get negative 4. So there's your factorized version. Basically, you've taken out the highest common factor and you've undistributed, if you'd like to say, the expression. Next question, 2b, is the same, similar to the previous question. You're asked to factorize, and basically you're looking for the highest common factor. In this case, it's it's y is the highest common factor. So so we take y out. What's y squared divided by y? It's y, and 6y divided by y is 6. So there's your factorized form. Next question, 3, it says that 1 pound is equal to 2.61 New Zealand dollars, and it's also equal to 1.45 euros, and so they're asking you to convert 630 New Zealand dollars to euros. Now, first of all, I want to say, if 1 pound is equal to 2.61 dollars, let's just put the dollars here, and this 1 pound is also equal to euros 1.45. So that means that $2.61 and 1.45 euros are equal to each other, since they're both equal to 1 pound. So that means that now you just have to use your simple ratio calculation to find out how much 630 New Zealand dollars is worth. So if $2.61 is to 1.45 euros, how much is $630 equivalent to? So we'll say $630 is equivalent to x. And these two dots, remember, are ratios. And I'll just put the signs here. Okay, so now putting this in algebraic form, it basically simplifies to 2.61 divided by 1.45 is equal to 630 divided by x. This is because they can be compared directly, since they're two different currencies, they can be related. So now I'll just go through this. So multiply both sides by x, and basically all you're doing is solving for x. So multiply both sides by x, you get 2.61x over 1.45 is equal to 630. Multiply both sides by 1.45, you get 2.61x is equal to 630 times 1.45, which is 913.5. Now divide both sides by 2.61, so you find out what x is, and x is 913.5 divided by 2.61, which is nothing but 350 euros. So 630 New Zealand dollars is worth 350 euros. Now question 4 gives you a graph and has drawn two triangles, T and U, on it, and they're basically asking you to describe fully the single transformation which maps triangle T onto triangle U. So in this case, first of all, look at both triangles. Triangle T is exactly the same as triangle U in terms of shape, size, shape and size. So it's exactly the same. So it can't have been enlarged or anything like that. But if you look at U, it's kind of like it's been flipped, like it's inverted. This inversion suggests that the transformation is reflection, since reflection causes inversion of the shape. But now reflection is not just enough. You have to decide on which line it's been reflected. If you look in T and U, they're on the same line. So that means they've been reflected on a vertical line. And from your knowledge of reflection on vertical lines, you should know that both shapes should be equidistant. That means the same distance from the line of reflection. So in this case, the line of reflection has to be in between both shapes. So what is that line? That line is right here at x equal to 4. Because if you notice, for each point, they're the same distance away from the line. Sorry for the bad arrows. But they're the same distance away. And so that means that this shape T has been reflected on the line x is equal to 4. So reflection on x is equal to 4. Okay, so this question is like the previous question we did, question 3. It's just basically using ratios and proportions to find your answer. So in this question it says, the ratio of Air China's fleet to Malaysian Air is 6 to 7, meaning 6 Chinese fleet to 7 Malaysian. I'll just simplify it to China and Malaysia. So now, if there were 72 planes in China, so 72 China, that means there are X Malaysia. How many Malaysia are there? We're trying to find this. Now all we have to do is do what we did in 3, which is put this into an algebraic form, which we get 6 over 7 is equal to 72 over X. Notice how China is on one line and Malaysia is on one line. So they have to be corresponding. So now all we do is solve for X. So we multiply both sides by X. We get 6X over 7 is equal to 72. We multiply both sides by 7. We get 6X is equal to 72 multiplied by 7. We divide both sides by 6. We get X is equal to 72 times 7 divided by 6. And so X is equal to 84 planes in Malaysia's fleet. Okay, well the next question gives you this these parallel lines and then has these lines and all this stuff. And basically they're asking you in 6A1 to find the value of X. And in 6A2, they're asking you to give a reason for your value of X. So basically the value of X in this case is 57. And that's because this and this is an alternate angle. So let me explain this alternate angle. Like, I would suggest you actually go to other websites, but I'll try explaining it to you as well as I can. So basically, it's because if you draw a line here and a line here, this forms a right angle triangle. So you have two right angle triangles here, and these two have the same distance, right? This side and this side. These two things I've labeled X. And also, this is the same distance. So that means that since they're similar triangles, this angle and this angle should be the same. So that's like a really brief description, but I suggest you go to other sites, like you should go to Khan Academy or mymaths.co.uk, and you can find out more about this stuff. So X is equal to 57 degrees, and the reason for this is because they're alternate angles, are equal. Okay, in question 6b, we have to find out the value of y. So in this case, it's not just a simple, like just one rule and you can apply it. You have to use two rules, and you have to describe everything you're doing. So basically, what you need to do is first, what angles can we find out? First of all, let me show you another angle, R. Let's just call it R. If we find out the value of R, we know the value of R is actually equal to 109. And why is this? It's because of alternate angles, right? As we discussed in the previous question. So now that we know the value of R, and R and Y lie on the same line, see, because anything that lies on the same line should be 180. No matter what direction the line is, it's always 180 degrees. So the sum of all angles on a line add up to 180 degrees. So I mean, since R and Y are the only two angles on the 180 degrees on the line, that means 109 plus Y should give me 180 degrees. So if we subtract 109 on both sides, we get Y is equal to 180 minus 109, which is equal to 71 degrees. And if you give the reason for this, it's because angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. In IGCSE, you have to always make sure you mention every single reason for why the angle is this amount and all that stuff. Okay, for this question, you're given a table of the grade of eggs a hen lays in a year, and you're given the number of eggs it lays. And then they say in 7a, they say that the first 4 months of the year, the hen laid 60 eggs. So this data is from last year. Okay, now first of all, for this data from last year, let's find out the total number of eggs it hatched. And the total is, if you add all the number of eggs, it becomes 150 eggs in total. So it means 55 eggs out of the 150 were large, extra large, sorry. So then, in 7a, they're asking us to find an estimate for the number of extra large eggs it laid in the 4 months. So in the 4 months, it laid a total of 60 eggs. And we don't know how many large eggs it's laid. But we're going to assume that this proportion, that this percentage will apply to this one. Okay, so in this case, now we'll just convert this ratio into algebraic form. So we can say 55 over 150 is equal to x over 60. And all we do is solve for x. So x is equal to, just multiply both sides by 60, 55 over 150 times 60. And so x is equal to 22 extra large eggs laid out of the 60. It's basically because we're assuming that this proportion is going to apply for the total 60 eggs. Well, 7b is giving you another table of the range of weight for each grade of the eggs, and they've asked you to work out an estimate for the total weight of 48 large eggs and 35 medium eggs. So first of all, this is a range. So it means that for large and medium, the weight can be in between 63 and 73. So that means that in order to find an estimate, we need to find the midpoint of the weight. So we need to find like an average amount. So how do we do this? What we do is we take the lower value, we add it to the higher value, and we divide it by 2. And this will give us a midpoint of 68. So 68 grams is the midpoint of the weight of each large egg. Now the midpoint of the weight of each medium egg is 53 plus 63 divided by 2, which is 58 grams for the weight of each medium egg. And remember, these are average values because they're asking us to find an estimate. Now, to find the total weight, all we have to do is multiply the mass of each large egg by the number of large eggs, and we add this value to the mass of each medium egg multiplied by the number of medium eggs, and this will give us a total of 3,264 plus 2,030, which gives you 5,294 grams. Okay, in question 7c, it's saying that Jody wants to use the information to work out an estimate for the total weight of all the eggs laid by the hen. Now you have to explain why it's difficult to do this. Okay, to understand this question, you have to look at two grades. You have to look at the extra large grade and the small grade. Now look at the weights. The weight is greater than 73 grams, meaning the weight could be 100, it could be 200, it could be 300, it could be 1,000,000, it can go up to infinity. And for small weight, it can go up to 0. So the ranges, first of all, are too big, meaning they don't have like for example in the large, they have it from 63 to 73. So you can find a midpoint and then you can calculate an average. But in this case, the extra large weight can go all the way up to infinity. So so it's difficult to get a total estimate. It's because there is no upper limit for extra large, and there is no lower limit for small. Limit for S. There is no upper limit or lower limit, upper limit for XL and no lower limit for small. So you can't really calculate a midpoint or like make an average assumption. Okay, in question 8a, they have given you an inequality x greater than negative 2 and less than or equal to 3. And you have to draw this on a number line. So first of all, what you need to figure out is the numbers that are included in this inequality. And if you think about them, they're negative 1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. 3 is included because it says x is also equal to 3. So how do you do this on a number line? So it starts from 2, right? But 2 is not included. So you put a hollow circle over 2, and it ends at 3, and 3 is included, so you color in the circle. Right? You color in the circle. So it starts at 2 and ends at 3. And you have to include all the numbers in between. So how do you do this? You put a line, and you join the 2. And that's it. 8b is very similar also. It's asking you to write down all the possible values of n which satisfy this inequality. N greater than or equal to negative 1 and less than 4. So if you think about this, n can be equal to negative 1, but it cannot be 4, and it has to be less than 4. So it means n can include negative 1, since n is also equal to negative 1. It can be greater than negative 1, meaning it can be 0, 1, 2, 3, but it has to be less than 4, meaning it has to stay at 3. So these are all the numbers. And it cannot be 4 because it doesn't say n is equal to 4. Okay, next question 9 is asking you to use a ruler and compass to construct a bisector of angle ABC. Now because I'm doing this on an iPad and I'm doing this on a computer, I don't have a compass and I can't really show you. But if you look at the description below, I've posted a link to another YouTube video which describes this in detail. Basically what a bisector is a line that divides an angle into two equal parts. So like let's say in this case a bisector would look like this, and it'll divide this into two different angles, and these angles will be equal to each other. And that's exactly what a bisector is, and it's a straight line. So just look at the YouTube link and you'll be able to do this. He does a similar like kind of angle. So yeah. Okay, question 10a has given you an equation y is equal to x squared minus 2, and they've asked you to complete the table. So when x is equal to negative 3, they don't know what y is. They haven't given you the value, so they're asking you to fill that in. So all you have to do is substitute this value into this equation. So all you do is y is equal to negative 3 squared minus 2. Now negative 3 squared is nothing but negative 3 times negative 3, and that's 9. And 9 minus 2 is equal to 7. So you just put that in there. Then you do it for the next one. Let's do it for the next one. Y is equal to negative 2 squared minus 2. So negative 2 squared is 4. 4 minus 2. Y is equal to 2. So then just repeat it for the next values and you'll get your answers. So the next answers are minus 2, minus 1, 2, and 7. Just follow the same pattern which I did for the first two and you get your answers. So now in question 10b, they're just asking you to draw the graph of y is equal to x squared minus 2. Now you have the values of x and y for specific points. All you need to do is plot them on the graph and draw a line through all of the points. Now how do you do this? For the first point, let's say x is equal to minus 3 and y is equal to 7. Now this horizontal axis, this horizontal line is the x-axis, and the vertical line is the y-axis. So now look at the values on the x-axis. You can see minus 3 over here. So all you do is go up until you reach minus 7, which is on this over here somewhere. Sorry, it'll be a bit messy on my, because I'm doing it on the iPad. So you just see it's minus 7 is here, and 3 goes up here, minus 7 goes here. So you draw your point there, where they two meet. And then you do minus 2 and 2. So minus 2 goes up here until here, where minus 2 comes. So you draw your next point there. Then the same thing for minus 1 and 1. So minus 1 and minus 1. So minus 1 and minus 1 will meet there. 0 and minus 2 over here. 1 and minus 1 here. 2 and 2 here. 3 and 7 there. Sorry. So then all you do is you draw a line through all of them. Oh, sorry, I didn't go through the last one. Draw your arrows after it, and then you label it y is equal to x squared minus 2. And that is it. Okay, thanks for watching part 1 of this tutorial. Please comment, rate, subscribe, and comment if you have any questions or anything. I'll be happy to help, and please go on to watch part 2 of this paper 4H. Thanks.